Okay, it's finally nap time. The kids are supposedly sleeping. At least they're quiet. This morning, I put together a couple clips on and off here and there as the kids would let me about one of my favorite topics, which would be raising kids, or in the video, I will explain how I like to look at it as raising adults. And I'll explain all that later throughout the really, really sporadic clips that I am going to mash all together into this video. So, childhood is a stage that every human being goes through and they must pass to become an adult. And as the adult and the parent, it is my job to teach my kids how to raise my kids that way. Okay, so the way I see it, instead of raising kids, you're raising adults. We should all be raising adults because ultimately that is what they will become. Our ultimate goal is to raise healthy, happy, successful adults, not kids. Like, childhood is just the stage that they pass through, and that is how I see my job as mom. To do this, though, instead of presenting our kids with just toys and this and that, we can go to Target and walk down the toy aisle, and there's just things, there's stuff, there's just stuff that kids, like for Christmas or birthdays, people would just give your kids stuffed animals, and dolls, and toys, and those kind of things, which I guess lots of them can be educational and they can be used to teach things and such and whatnot. But when we choose toys for the kids, we think about how they can learn from playing with them. Like Legos, for example, are great toys. They're great educational toys. They are spatial toys. Legos, puzzles. We have these things called Magnetiles. They're awesome. I play with them with the kids, and the kids love them. The kids build structures out of them and then play with their little animals in the structures. We do lots of puzzles. We color. Everybody colors, but when we color, you teach them to color in the lines. You don't just give them a pencil and allow them to scribble all over the paper. Kids will do that, but your job as a parent is to instruct them on how to color in the lines, how to do it. This is a great puzzle. I don't even know if I could call it a puzzle, really. It's just kind of this little block set that is shapes and I guess kind of a puzzle. It's like patterns. You're creating patterns, you're working with colors, you're working with different shapes and sizes of these different blocks to create whatever pattern you pick out here. They're really cool, and the kids love this stuff. Our 2-year-old, the little guy here, is learning his colors. The 3 and my 4-year-old, almost 5-year-old, they work together to do this, which is teamwork. That's something I encourage. Also, educational toys are things like this loom we have back here. This thing, we just took the yarn off of it yesterday. One of my 3-year-old made a blanket for her animals. But that would be something like fine motor, right? It's something they can use later on. They're getting familiar with the texture of string and yarn, those kind of things. I'm sure most people have seen something like this before. You stick your yarn in like this, every other whatever. People know how to loom, come on. Anyway, so it's like fine motor. They have to learn how to weave it back and forth. They're getting used to the texture. That's something they can use and benefit from in the future. So this is something I would consider an educational toy activity kind of thing. So technically this is school for us, and we love that. There's a bunch of instruments that go in here, and you turn it on. You can fit like 6 instruments on here. They learn the sounds of all the different instruments. See, here we have the cymbals. You put that thing on the little stage and it'll play cymbals. And boom, you got music. And so they learn how to kind of compose music. And they love that. It's a toy, technically, but they are also learning from it. And they now know what, like, most of their instruments are. It's really cool. They like the little piano things. It's got a bunch of different songs on it. I'll sit and play with this thing. It's pretty cool. We do not have TV. We do not pay for TV because we do not watch TV. We don't watch football. We don't watch reality TV. The kids don't watch Saturday morning cartoons or any cartoons on TV because we don't have TV. We get the news and any of our information from the internet. There are many sources you can get anything from on the internet. We don't need TV for it, and it saves us money. We watch documentaries and things that are going to teach us. The cartoons, as far as cartoons, they love things like Magic School Bus. And when they watch Magic School Bus, like in the living room back here, I'll be cooking breakfast, for example, and they're watching Magic School Bus while I'm doing that. And say we're watching something on the digestive system or something, right? And I'll throw in my little 2 cents and I'll kind of narrate a little bit what's happening in the show. Like I said, the point of being the parent is to kind of guide and teach them the things that they see and the things that they are watching. You gotta help them understand what it's for, what the purpose of it is, or like my kids they'll be sitting and eating oatmeal and they'll tell me, it's going down my esophagus. They're super goofy. I may get some junk back from this, but things like My Little Pony, like the newer ones, or like I've seen things on like Netflix, like at places that I won't state here, but where the kids will the characters will argue, and the show will have like these attitudes towards each other, or they'll argue about things towards each other, or they'll just treat each other less than what they should. They don't have respect or manners and that kind of stuff, which I guess childhood. That's childhood, but as a parent, it's our job to kind of teach them against all of the negative behavior and whatnot, all that good stuff. We watch different things. The kids really like things like documentaries. They've gotten into Bill Nye. They get into things. We don't watch like Sophia or whatever's on the Disney Channel because I feel like those shows don't really serve a purpose. They're not teaching our kids anything. My Little Pony, those kind of things. Mind you, my kids are 2 and 3 and almost 5.
4.
Yes, 4. Almost 5. And they would really rather watch something that they will learn from. And that is because that's kind of what I've encouraged as their mom. We watch things like Little House on the Prairie, which my kids love. Lots of kids probably wouldn't because they're used to watching things like cartoons and other things. They love Little House on the Prairie. They think it's so cool that the little girl rides on a horse and they live in the boonies in the pioneer days. They love that stuff. They like seeing the girls in the dresses and the bonnets, and they love seeing like the mom cook the food in the fireplace. They think that's the coolest thing ever, and the chickens and the cows and all that. They think it's awesome, but that's how I'm raising them. That's stuff that I feel like we should value. Our plan is and has always been to homeschool. And our goal is not to prepare them for college, but instead is to teach them how to learn and to grow. I took notes this time. The last time it got kind of goofy, so I made bullet points. Anyway, so our point is I know a lot of homeschooling parents and a lot of people who not even homeschooling parents. People just, they want to get their kids ready to go to college. They push their kids into college, or they suggest good grades and doing your homework so they can get into a good college. Our goal with homeschooling is to teach them how to learn and to grow. If they are taught how to learn and grow, then as children, then they will want to learn and grow as adults. You don't need college education to succeed in life. There are a lot of people who do it. And so my point is not to push my kids into college when they become of age. So now that we have that nailed down, instead of pushing the traditional education, workbooks, tests, we teach creativity, that kind of stuff. I encourage my kids right now, being the ages that they are, to play. Playing is their education. 2 of them are preschool, kindergarten age, and instead of going in and pushing worksheets and stuff, which we do for fun because that's what they want to do anyway, I encourage play just as much as I do the other things, which I guess they do in a lot of other schools too, but I'm going to continue to do that till they're 6, 7 years old, because I feel that playtime is really important for kids. When kids are given time to play, they learn how to behave with one another. They learn how to share. They learn teamwork. They learn how to help one another. They learn how to say sorry if somebody gets hurt. They learn how to trade their toys. They learn that kind of stuff. On the topic of educating our kids, and like with the smart documentaries and whatever movies and those kind of things on Netflix I can find, we also provide them with things that people think that we're crazy, like these books, for example. Here, some guy like knocked on my door last summer, and he went through all these books, and they were pretty cool. And I thought, well, my kids are kind of little, but then I paged through them, and I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to be homeschooling, I might as well start them and grab the books while I can, while he was at my door, and get these books and have them just available to the kids. And I realized that they're only 2 and 3 and almost 5, but I got the books anyway for later, and I stuck them on the shelf, and the kids actually really like these books. And they'll point at these pictures, and they'll kind of ask me about it, or they'll say, look, Mom, whatever about this picture in the book? And then that gives me the opportunity to teach them about whatever they pointed at. They're right now really interested in the whatever one is, like the anatomy and the human body one. This one, Me and My Body. They're really into that one because there's like pictures of the stages of like growing babies, and me being 35 weeks pregnant. They really like to see the stages of where their little brother is at in my belly. This is where we're at now. So soon we'll be there. But they'll like bring this page to me every single day, and they'll say, look, where is baby at? Well, how big is baby? And they just get a kick out of it. It's not just this book either. It's like all these books on the shelf. That's why they're here. And for having a 2-year-old, you don't usually stick books down on a shelf where they can like reach them and take them off the shelf and pick them apart and eat them and whatever. But I keep them there because they actually use them. So it doesn't kill you to provide these things for little kids, whether they're interested or not. At least if you show them that they're there or you provide them for them, you might be surprised. Kids are really into that stuff, like things that they can learn up. Because they're sponges. They'll pick up anything they can absorb. You teach them, that's your job, and that's how they learn. They don't need a textbook to do that. That's your job as mom. Do it. So look at it this way. You stick, let's say 20 kids in a classroom, okay? And these kids are all different. They have different personalities. They have different characteristics. They learn different things. They eat different things at home, okay? You stick 20 kids in a classroom in kindergarten, okay? Then you give them all a pencil, you give them a paper, you teach them all to sit still and to write their letters, okay? With one teacher, maybe 2, or maybe an aide or something. Remembering that these kids are all different, completely different from one another. Some kids may have what they call now ADD, which I do not believe in, but everybody has their own opinions. Say you have one kid who just is super antsy, right? Or a few kids, because if there's 20 kids, there's going to be a couple of them, I'm sure, that are really antsy, can't sit down, hold a pencil, and like focus and concentrate on writing their name or learning their letters or whatever. Can't sit at all. They're just antsies. Let's say you have this one kid that will just get up because he just has to move. Okay, and then you have some kids who are going to grab that pencil and they're going to write their name and everything else that they can think of that is a word, right? That's like my kid. So then you have all these kids with all these different personalities, and you try to get them all to do the same thing. That's how school is all the way up through 12th grade and college. And I don't want to do that with my kids. The nice thing about homeschooling is that I can teach each of them on their own level according to the style or the way that they learn. I can sit down with my 4-year-old and do letters. I can sit down with my 3-year-old, teach her how to color in the lines because she doesn't want to do her letters. It's just fine. I'm not going to push it. If she's 5 years old and doesn't want to learn her letters, I'll probably suggest it, but I'm not going to make her do it until she's ready. So like I said earlier, childhood is a stage that every human being must go through to become an adult. And so I believe that to raise a successful and happy and healthy adult, it is all 100% determined on the way you raise them through their childhood, through that stage in life. So I think that we all need to focus on being more proactive as the parents and as parental figures, grandparents, aunts and uncles, the examples to our kids, because I think that makes all the difference in the world.
What is that one?
Nickel.
Good.
Yeah, nickel.
Good. So, do you want to use 5 pennies or 1 nickel?
5 pennies.
Okay. So I will take 5 pennies. You sure that's 5?
Yeah.
I see 4. Can you count them for me?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, okay, I see them now.
5
All right. Now, since you bought the horse, it's yours.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Instead of going to school to learn, I feel like we should go to school to learn how to learn. Like, instead of going to school to learn facts and information and stuff, we should go to school to learn how to ask questions about the facts and the stuff and the information that we learn, right? I feel like we should be teaching our kids how to learn and not just things and stuff. Because if they learn how to learn and they can learn how to ask questions about the things that they learn, they'll dig deeper naturally. Because if that's what they're taught, if that's how they grow up, to asking questions and learning and knowing how to learn, then they're going to dig deeper into the stuff and the information and the things that they learn anywhere, not just in school, but like everywhere.